Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today's Wildcard Sunday where we look at things a little bit off the beaten path from our regularly scheduled videos and artists during the week. So today we're looking at something I always kind of saw here and there in ads and stuff when I was a kid and never really actually saw the actual comic itself. And going through some dollar bins this summer, I believe, when I was on a trip to Boston at a comic book shop that had a huge kind of dollar bin section. Found this and I decided for $1 that I'd pick it up. I always thought the cover was interesting. The art was interesting. Don't know how much it delivers with the actual comic on the inside, but, I'll talk about it real quick. It's Sunday. This won't be a super long review, and we'll just kind of look at the interesting aspects of this comic that's not very well known, right? So it's a Marvel UK comic. They always incorporated back then kind of elements of the regular Marvel universe into the Marvel UK universe. So you'll see guys like, I believe this is US Agent, not Captain America, right? And you'll see other Marvel mainstays near the end. But basically what I'm going to be focusing on is the art. It was interesting. The artist is Andrew Curry. Now, that name sounds familiar, and I feel like maybe he's still doing comics today. I'd have to look that up. Definitely an artist, I think, that was kind of starting out, but already had some interesting chops and some an interesting look to his art. So this cover right away, if you are familiar with the early 90s, Super Soldiers it's called. It's got the foil cover, so it's kind of a gimmick cover slightly. It is a cardstock cover, so that's kind of also probably is why the cover price is what it is back then. Pretty expensive for a comic of this quality, I guess is what I would say. And really, if you know, again, anything about the early 90s, this is 100%, I gotta say, a ripoff of Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, right? The look of the characters and everything and the concept of this comic is basically just a ripoff of that movie. So I do find that interesting in the fact that it's very 90s and it's kind of a 90s artifact, I guess, is how I describe it. When you get ads like this, it always sucks though when you do the embossing and you get it on the other side where the ads are. Whoever paid for this ad, the studio, I don't think we're expecting anything like that. I'd hope they'd ask for some sort of rebate on that. But yeah, so this is definitely marks it as a period in time, right? Army of Darkness, if you're familiar with that, you'll remember in and around what was going on that time when this comic came out. So yeah, mostly for the art is why I got this comic. It's got kind of some interesting stuff here and there. I definitely feel like a lot of Marvel UK books had to deal with deadline-itis, I guess you'd call it, where you had some kind of young, fresh artists who could do some interesting and maybe different, fun-looking stuff. Like I definitely like this page here. I think it looks good. This character here, the line work and stuff is interesting and fun. But the deadline-itis would hit at some point, and the last few pages usually of the comic kind of suck, and the art starts to trail off. Co-writer Michael W. Bennett and Lee Stevens. Again, pencils Andrew Curry. Inks Rodney Ramos. Colors Steve Whitaker. And letters Bambos. So who knows? Yeah, the storyline again is pretty typical. Super soldiers and stuff. So Captain America is going to be involved somehow. But again, it's the Universal Soldier story. One of them goes rogue, right? And he's going to have to be taken in. It's usually how it goes. A lot of kind of 90s type, again, it's a ripoff of Universal Soldier. It's a ripoff of that type of canon movie, right? So you got the corny lines, right? Looking for me? Eat this. So 90s. So again, he's gone rogue, but I guess he's the good guy because he's asking this lady, he gets in, carjacks her car and asks her to drive. Got some, again, tinges of Terminator in here, right? Basically a canon movie, once again in comic book form. You could almost imagine maybe this is some movie script that was never made, right? Or like the original version of Universal Soldier, the first draft. But yeah, I just found something interesting in the line work and the hatching, which I feel is kind of trying to do a little bit of a riff on like early 90s Jim Lee kind of hatching and stuff, but ends up being something else. I feel like he still has a fairly good grip on basic drawing and backgrounds, figure work, using reference pictures to draw a helicopter, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff. He's got the fundamentals. And then maybe the faraway shots look a little more kind of house style and just kind of 80s generic, but when you get up close and you get a little bit more detail in the hatching and stuff, there's something about it that I like and I find interesting. Sometimes the proportions go way off. You know, this is the kind of stuff, the inconsistencies with younger artists when they're starting out in mainstream work, whenever. That's one good example where, you know, compare the size of his head here to here, all of a sudden it just really shrunk down. It's like a Beetlejuice kind of situation here, right? If you've seen that movie. And yeah, again, we're getting towards the end of the issue, so the art does start to trail off a little bit, except when you got like nice big kind of splash pages, basically, is what you got here, right? So he's still making that effort. Feels like this is photo referenced, so, you know, I'm sure a lot of stuff in here is photo referenced, which I have no problem with. That's fine to help you get out, get the right positions and stuff, but maybe this one's a little more obvious. And here's where they tie it into the Marvel universe, right? So we start getting some of those Marvel characters, the super soldiers, right? Captain America and Bucky. Bucky eventually became Nomad, right? This is in around this time. Nomad is also, you know, they've got his series, so they're trying to plug him in here and there. Kind of a weird period for Bucky, right? He's not the original Bucky, though, the guy who became Nomad. That's why you could eventually get Bucky coming back, the original, as Winter Soldier. Not the same guy. You got the Fantastic Four, right? They're involved somehow. Not quite sure, because like I said, the story is like whatever. They talk about, what was his name? Nuke from the Daredevil run, right? Another kind of try or run at the Super Soldier program that didn't quite go as well as, say, Captain America did, right? And I mean, listen, you're getting a lot of the Weapon X kind of tropes thrown in here, right? You can see where they're getting influence from comics from in and around the day. Nothing super original in this one, right? This, you got some Captain America tropes, some Wolverine tropes, and still lots of designs from Universal Soldier, right? But again, every once in a while, there's just shots that there's something I like about it. There's a bit of Bisley in there, a bit of Jay Lee, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. It's a little bit amateur, but fun. So, I mean, still getting a good sense of depth in most of his images. This is a good one, right? And yeah, that's basically it for this. Things I thought were interesting is by looking at this last page here. Whoever did the character design here, Howard by Edmund Perryman, I'd like to see more of his art, because gotta be honest, as much as I liked the cover, the guy who did the cover and the interiors, this kind of art style here looks very interesting to me, and he actually designed the look of the character, right? Have to look that guy's name up as well. And there you go. That's my quick and easy short review for Sunday edition of Big Baby Reviews, Wildcard Sunday. Thank you, everyone out there who's still watching and subscribed. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for being there. Those of you who are watching but are not subscribed yet, please do so below. It only takes a second for you, and it really helps out the channel. Helps get us out there to other like-minded people who are into the same thing that we are, namely comic books. So everyone have a great rest of your weekend, and have an awesome day.
Like! Subscribe! Like! Subscribe!
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KingComics.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.